Shabbat Shalom. As you can tell from the background behind me, this week's Torah portion recounts one of the best known stories in the entire Bible, the story of Noah and the Ark. And we tell this story to our children from the time that they are very young. It's a story about rainbows and boats and animals galore. It's the Dr. Dolittle of the Jewish tradition. And yet, at its core, this is a very scary story, a story of destruction, a story of a world completely undone. And the verse that I want to focus on in the Parashat this week is a verse that I find to be the most striking verse in the entire story. And it doesn't matter if it's true or false, if this story is utter fiction or not. If you were telling this story and you came upon this verse, it would really give you pause. The verse is, and God spoke to Noah and told him, "Say min hateva, go out of the ark." Now let's set the stage here. Noah was in this ark for about a year. The chronology is difficult to piece together when you read the story, but scholars agree it's from beginning to end, from the flood, when the rain started until all of the water subsided. It was close to a year. And at that point, God has to tell Noah to get out of the ark. He was crammed into this boat with all of these animals, with all of the food and all of the waste that was produced by these animals over the course of a year. And you would think that Noah would be so ready to barge out of this barge. And yet God has to tell him, go out. He knew, he saw, he sent birds. He knew the water was gone, the earth was dry, and yet he had to be pushed along by God. And I think there's a lesson in that. We often take comfort in that which is familiar, even if it isn't so wonderful or perfect. We make so many arcs for ourselves. It's hard to move out of that comfort zone and to step into the unknown. And yet that's what life is all about, whether we're talking about a new relationship or a new job or a new school. Leaving your comfort zone, going out of your ark and taking those first steps on new territory in a new world, that's very difficult. And certainly during the time of this pandemic, we all feel that way as well. We are in our arks, in our homes where we feel safe, and it's not so easy for some of us to go out into the world, and yet we must. We must do what Noah did, leave the ark and build a new life, build a new world. Even if the storm has not completely passed, we can still step out and build and create and grow and live our lives just the way Noah did when he built a new world. May your days be full of rainbows of your own finding in the days and months to come. Shabbat Shalom.